Hey besties! Quick note before you hop into this video. I know I said that this channel was just for my trip to Massachusetts and my time there. I guess I lied.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Because this is not a video about Massachusetts, it's a video about the lorax. I'm very passionate about it, and that's what this video is. I promise, though, that there will be an update soon. Okay? Promise? You're just gonna have to watch this video first, because I told you so. And it's only the second video I'm posting. Sorry. Another thing, this video is heavily inspired by a lot of YouTubers I watch, including Nicole Raffi, Curtis Connor, I believe that's his name, I might be wrong. But just so you know, this is not original content. This is not, I'm not starting a new genre here, okay? This has been done before. Maybe not about the lorax, that I'm not sure of. But I took this idea from them. Not took, I'm inspired. Anyways, a Massachusetts update will be coming soon, hopefully. So sit back, enjoy, relax, and enjoy this video about the lorax. On March 2nd, 2012, history was made. Alright. On March 2nd, 2012, in Hollywood, history was made. At least for me. That was the year that the most incredible, wonderful movie premiered. And the only movie I could be talking about is none other than The Lorax. Listen, I understand that no one asked for this. No one cares, okay? I'm the only one who cares about this movie. But in March, the movie turned 13. It's a teenager now.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Woo! But there's a lot of lore behind this movie that I thought would be important to talk about, because I don't think people appreciate this movie enough. I truthfully don't. So this video is going to be a little commentary on it. Anyways, to start, before we get into the movie, you guys gotta know the history behind it. And the author who wrote the original book. Now, Dr. Seuss, we know him, a lot of us love him. He was born on March 2nd, 1904, to the name Theodore Geisel, which does not have as great of a ring as Dr. Seuss. But, now, Mr. Geisel, Dr. Seuss, changed lives. He really did. Before he started writing books, he was actually a part of marketing and advertisement. Before he wrote his first book and got it published in 1939. Very shortly after, he then had to hop right on into World War II propaganda. Now, Mr. Geisel was very political, not just obviously with his propaganda, but with his books. His books very much spread his beliefs, what he wanted for the world, and that was just kind of his thing. So fast forward to 1971. Dr. Seuss has long since finished his propaganda work, has been, pushing out kids' books like they are his kids. And in 1971, he publishes a book called The Lorax. This book heavily followed a guy named the Onceler who wants to create a new product called the Thneed. And he creates it by chopping down trees. And the Lorax comes down from the sky into a little tree stump and says,
"Hey, no, don't do that."
The Onceler's like, "I don't care." Does it anyways, and he messes up an entire forest. The forest is gone. Hey, Editor Kate, that's me. I realized that that lady who's telling you all about the Lorax forgot to tell you how the book ends. So that's what I'm here for. Basically, the book ends, the Lorax is telling the Onceler that he fucked up, and he flies away off from the little stump and leaves the Onceler to deal with his consequences. Forward in time to the Onceler, he's telling this story to a young boy, and he gives a little seed of a truffula tree to the boy and says, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, it's not going to get better. It's not."
Okay.
So it's very hopeful. It's very sweet. It's all about saving trees, saving the environment. I have filmed this so many times because the audio is shit. But I hope that makes sense. So now to the lady who is teaching you about this movie. Why the fuck did I do this? It's a lovely book. I like this book. I think it's wonderful. But at the time, a lot of people did not like it. The book got banned in many different states and many different school districts because they did not like how political this book got. They did not like the messages that Dr. Seuss was trying to spread to children. And yeah, so it still is kind of a big controversy to some people, not as much as it was. But it stirred the pot. That is for sure. A little kid's book from the 1970s stirred up the pot, apparently. After the book was published, he went on and he wrote many, many, many other books before he passed away in September of 1991. And it was devastating. I mean, I can't say much because I wasn't alive at the time, but I knew that little me, when I found out Dr. Seuss was not alive, I was crushed. And so that's the book. That's the history of the Lorax, kind of, what was happening with it. There was another movie that was made in the 1970s based off of the Lorax. That is not the one we are talking about, though, today. The one we are talking about is the 2012 Illumination animated movie, The Lorax. Now, like I said before, this movie premiered on March 2nd, 2012, Dr. Seuss's birthday. It follows a little kid named Ted. Ted is voiced by none other than Zac Efron. Which, you know what, period, love that. So Ted wants nothing more than to impress this girl, Audrey, who is voiced by Taylor Swift. So Ted wants to impress Audrey, the 16-year-old girl, because he has a crush on her. And the thing about Ted and Audrey is that they live in a town filled with fake everything. Fake grass, fake trees, really shitty air. They have to get their air delivered to them. And so there's no trees. But the thing is that Audrey is obsessed with trees, specifically truffula trees. And she tells Ted that for her 16th birthday, she would love nothing more than to get a tree. And that if any boy got her a truffula tree for her birthday, she would have to marry him on the spot. And so, you know, Ted does the most logical thing that a 12-year-old boy would do in that situation, decides he's gonna get her a tree.
Yo, you wanna see some real speed?
Because, you know, 12 and 16 is a perfect age to get married. So, he is trying to figure out how the hell am I gonna get a tree? Everything is fake. And he goes home because he has a family game night with his mom and his grandma Norma. And he decides to ask in the middle of it, how do I get a tree? I want one. And we get one of the best scenes in this movie. And I'll just show you. Here it is.
It's the Oak-O-Matic, the only tree with its own remote. Summer, autumn, winter, and disco.
Mom.
Come on, Ted, get into it. Dance with the tree.
Oh, it hurts, Mom. Please stop.
So after that masterpiece, Ted's mom leaves to go grab something for Grandma Norma, and Norma, pulls him in close and tells him exactly what he needs to hear, which is how to get a truffula tree. That he needs to find the Onceler outside of town. Their town is called Thneedville, by the way. Just need to throw that out there. She grabs him and tells him, I don't think she grabs him, but she tells him, shakes her cane or something at him, and says, you need to go out of town and find the Onceler because he will tell you how to get a tree. So Ted, packs up his little stuff, gets on his weird scooter, puts on his helmet because safety first, and he rides outside of town. Now, before we get to that part, one important part of this movie that you need to know is there is a character named O'Hare. O'Hare is the CEO and almost kind of implied that he's the mayor of town. He sells air to these people. His motto is that the more smog in the sky,
the more people will buy.
So basically saying that he has no want to fix the environment. Instead, all he wants to do is he wants to sell air in plastic bottles because it makes him rich. And one rule that O'Hare has is that no one can leave town. Because if they leave town, they're going to see how shitty the outside world is outside of Thneedville. Thneedville has these beautiful fake plants and it is a very artificial town. But it's beautiful to them. And he does not want them going out to see this forest that is out there to know that there were trees at one point. But that's what Ted does.
Oh my God!
Ted gets on a scooter, he leaves town, and he drives through a kind of sad-looking forest, a very sad-looking forest that is gray and is just covered in chopped down tree stumps. And he starts And like, he's coughing as the air sucks. And he's just driving. He does some crazy parkour. And he finally gets to the Onceler's house. Now, the Onceler is the Onceler from the book. There's nothing different. But this Onceler is voiced by Ed Helms. So, Ted pays up the dues that he has to pay to the Onceler. And instead of giving Ted a tree, decides to tell him his life story. And so we get a beautiful movie just about the Onceler and his story. I said that already, what the... Now, the Onceler, like the book, came to find the material that he needed to make for his Thneed. And he finds this beautiful forest filled with truffula trees and decides that that's what I want to use for my product. So he goes over and he chops down the first tree. And he sets up camp, he brings the tree, and he's doing a little jig while like pulling off the tufts of the tree. When all of a sudden, like, lightning strikes. And in the stump of the tree that he just cut down, out comes the lorax. Who is played by my Lord and Savior, Danny DeVito. And it is the book. Like, this story is the book, basically. The lorax is like, hey, you can't do that here. That's bad. You know, the Onceler's like, no,
fuck you. I'm gonna do what I want.
And they like go back and forth before like he officially says like, okay, I'm just gonna make one Thneed. We'll see if it sells. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna chop down any trees. If it does, I will find a way to make this product without chopping down trees. And all is happy and well. And so throughout this, Onceler and lorax are kind of becoming friends. When finally the Onceler finishes his Thneed and takes it into town, not Thneedville, just a little town, takes it into town to sell it. And he goes day after day trying to sell this Thneed and just fails every single time. So one day he gives up, right? He tosses the Thneed and walks away. But where the Thneed lands when he throws it behind him is on the head of a nerdy little girl who gets stuck in it, and in her struggle to take it off, her hair gets let down, her glasses come off, and suddenly she is beautiful. It's dumb. But everyone loves it. Everyone's like, holy shit, this product took this nerdy girl and turned her beautiful. What could it do for me? And so suddenly, like, high demand, you know?
Oh no, that's a lot of people.
And so the Onceler needs help, so he calls his family comes, and they start helping make more Thneeds for him. And they're trying their best to not chop down trees. Actually, they're not trying their best. They are like taking this weird contraption and taking one tuft off at a time and then running over and putting it in a bin. When we saw at the beginning of the movie that you could pull these things out in chunks, like, it is not like a tedious, like, I mean, it probably is still tedious, but like, you can grasp them. You don't have to pick one at a time. So they're not trying their best. So his family's like comes up to him and is like, hey, we gotta chop down trees. And he's like,
I guess so, fine.
and they just start going at it. They just start chopping down every single tree. He's making money, and we see things start growing and growing and growing. Not trees, buildings. And the lorax comes up to the Onceler and is like, hey, you gotta stop. This is really bad for this environment, for these animals here. And we get, I forgot to mention, it's a musical. And so at this moment, in this conversation, we get one of the best songs ever. And it is called How Bad Can I Be?
Shake that bottom line.
So good. He really, he put his whole body and soul into that song. And by the end of this song, we just see this field of trees just turn into nothingness. And finally, the last truffle tree has been chopped down. They haven't been planting anymore. They've just been chopping them down. He ruined an entire forest. The final truffle tree gets chopped down, and that's it. What's he gonna do now? His business can't succeed any longer. There's barely he has one tree left to make a thneed out of, and so the flashback portion of this movie ends with the lorax coming up to the Onceler and saying, you've ruined everything. These animals can't live here anymore. They're covered in oil and just bad shit. So we're leaving. So the animals walk away, and the lorax flies up into the sky, leaving on the one stump, on the very first tree stump, the tree that he chopped down all those years ago, that time ago, I don't know how long time has passed in this. On the stump of the first tree he chopped down says the word unless. And that's the flashback, right? So throughout this, like, it's not just like this straightforward. We go back and forth between the past and the present. But while this is happening, Ted is just like eager to get like a tree, you know? And once they're not the one. And throughout all this, like, Ted, like, throughout this story, Ted is just like, just give me a tree, please, for the love of God. And O'Hare is like, Ted, you stop this. No. And finally, at the end of the Onceler story, he drops down to Ted from his high window a little seed for a truffle tree and says, go plant this, fix my mistakes. So Ted rushes back into town and he tells Audrey, like, hey, we gotta plant this. I got you a tree. And O'Hare hears about this. O'Hare kind of knows that what's happening. And so he shows up at Ted's house and is trying to, like, play buddy-buddy before Ted just fucking darts out of there. And we did a crazy, crazy chase scene where Grandma Norma just fucking, like, obliterates people. By the way, I forgot to say this. Grandma Norma is played by Betty White. Fucking incredible. And so the movie comes, like, the final part of Ted's story comes to us in a song called Let It Grow, where he is trying to convince this entire town to let him plant this tree. And they're kind of hesitant at first, but they kind of slowly start, you know, getting into it. And O'Hare is just, like, trying his best, saying, like, no,
I say let it die. Let it die, let it die. Let it shrivel up and... Come on, who's with me, huh?
Before they grab this short little man, take basically what is like a jetpack full of, like, his air that he sells. They put it on his back they open it and he just like shoots up into the air. And that's the end of O'Hare. And so they plant the tree, and the movie ends with the Onceler finally coming out of his house for the first time since the lorax has left. He has like a gray mustache. He's older now, and he comes out of his house, and we see little baby truffula trees just scattered around his house, slowly growing. And as he starts to water them, from the sky, in the most graceful way, comes the lorax. And he lands, looks at the Onceler and says, "You did
Done
good, Beanpole." They laugh, they hug, end of movie. I mean, come on. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a fun little movie for kids, and I fell in love with it when I was a kid, and I still love it. But my opinion is not the one that matters, okay? When this movie came out, and still today, it has the most mixed reviews I think I've ever seen for a movie. Some people really love it, some people are kind of indifferent, and some people really fucking hate it. And the biggest kind of controversy that came out of it was it actually happened before the movie even premiered. The critics were watching it, and they were kind of saying their piece on it, when a guy comes out and says that this movie is going to basically pollute our kids' minds into thinking this way. So yeah, we have all that going on. People are just kind of fucking shitting on this movie, which is crazy. So yeah, people were really shitting on this movie before it even came out. And people were not happy about it because they thought it was political, and they hated that. But then on the other end, there were people out there who loved the book, who are wanting it to be more political, more about conservation. And so we have this weird kind of push and pull here. I mean, I think the craziest part for me is that this is a kid's book. Kids' books, in my opinion, are supposed to teach our kids something. And when we have a world filled with life and plants and living things, I think it's important to talk about how to take care of those things. A big debate, a big problem that a lot of people had with this movie, with this book, was the political aspect of it. Which is weird because Dr. Seuss was a political man. He literally had a whole career creating propaganda against the Nazis. And so it's really weird to me when we look at this book, at this movie, and say that it's too political, because truthfully, if you look at his propaganda, it's not that political. It is quite quite tame compared to some of his stuff he drew. Alright, now that we've talked about, the controversy behind it, I know what you're thinking. You want to know what I think of this movie. I love it. I don't think it is the most well-made movie out there, mind you, but I feel like as a society, we cannot look at this movie that has Betty White, Danny DeVito, Taylor Swift, Zac Efron, Ed Helms, and so many talented actors, And it also has some really catchy songs. The animation is kind of fun, it's vibrant. I don't think we can look at it and be like, well, it sucks. It's just horrible. Because I don't think it is. I think it's a wonderful little movie. And I think it is a fun adaptation of a book that was way more political than this movie is. And so I don't know. I don't understand the controversy behind it. I think it is a wonderful kids movie. I think it's great for kids to watch. And also, I'm gonna get in close here for you guys to hear this. My biggest issue with this movie and with how people are reacting to this movie is that everyone who hates it, who shits on it, who says that it is a piece of crap, are all adults. Process that for me. You are going to tell me that the only people shitting on this movie are the people that this movie wasn't even made for. And listen, we're at a point where this movie came out 13 years ago, and a lot of the kids who grew up with it are now adults. Pretty much all of us are. And so, there is some critique to be done in the sense of, yes, we are adults now and we can critique it because we grew up with it. But we should not critique it to the point where we just say it's a shitty movie. Because we grow out of the movies and the TV shows that we watch and we look back at some of them and we're like, that's horrible. That's not think about Hannah Montana. Was it a decent show? Yeah, it was fun when I was a kid. Is it bad? Yeah. It is not great now that I'm an adult and I understand film more. But as a kid, I loved it. And so I feel like we are being too harsh on this movie. Truthfully. This movie is a perfect movie for kids. It is not it is not the best, most well done movie, but that doesn't matter. Because kids won't care if it's a well-made movie. Only adults will. Yeah, I stand by that very, very passionately. I think if you are going to shit on a movie, you shouldn't shit on a movie that is made for children. Because not everything is made to fit an adult's liking. Look at Cocomelon. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. I know it is not what I said I would do on this channel, but I had fun. I think it's a fun little thing to do. Before this video ends, I want to say thank you for all the love that you showed on my first video. It is very sweet because I am still very nervous to do this, and it was very sweet to look at all my friends' comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am sweating my ass off. It is so warm in my room. And let me know if you want me to do more of this, because I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, the reason I did this is because I tried the vlogging thing, and vlogging. I'm not gonna lie. The reason I did this is because I tried to do the vlogging everyday thing, and I hated it. I was bad at it. And so you're just gonna get updates about Massachusetts, and other times you're gonna get videos like this. Hope you enjoy it, because I am. But anyways, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't watched my last video, go watch that, because you won't understand what I'm talking about with this not being my normal content. But I love you guys. Subscribe, like this video, and I will see you in my next one.